Hi, Teresa Gutierrez, your friendly neighborhood shamanic practitioner. And I had another dream, and it's a good one. It's short, but so juicy and full of so much goodness and so much empowerment for your healing. So here we go. This dream was probably in February when I started having a lot of really big, really heavy, really painful challenges come up with my family and with how I interpreted that about myself. So I turned it around, and I'm so glad. But this dream can help all of us turn yucky feelings around that we're carrying about ourselves. So in this dream, I'm given a short life prognosis, and my grandson becomes worried. There is a bug in my room. My grandson becomes worried and wants to sleep next to me. And in this dream, I'm in my closet building a cross. And it has to do with like I'm building this cross and it's important to me, but I'm doing this in the closet. And my grandson wants to have his sleepover with me and sleep by me, but there's no room in the closet for him. And so I wish in the dream, I feel myself wishing there was room for him in the closet so that we can have our sleepover and be by one another as promised. So in the dream, I had this sense that I had made a promise that we could be with each other, that we could have our sleepover, we could be close to one another. And then I woke up. So the dream ended in a way where I had this wish and desire, but it had not been fulfilled yet. And so I took a look at the symbolism recently. And, this is so important because to me, I feel like grandchildren can represent innocence and purity. So if, you know, how do I describe this? Because I look at my dreams in two ways. Like, how does this make sense literally in my life? And how does this apply to me symbolically? Because in dreams, it could be true that every piece of a dream represents a part of ourselves. And so, literally, I'm in a situation where it might be true that I can't have a sleepover with him in a certain place. But that doesn't mean I can't have my sleepovers with him at his place. So that's good news. I can make anything work in real life. Now, when it comes to the symbolism, I see him as innocent. I see him as pure. He's so joyful and he brings so much light into my life and into my heart, as does my granddaughter. But the dream was about my grandson. And so one of the things I wanted to share is I felt like I had so many options, right? I could stay in the closet and keep him out of the closet, and I could keep building my faith in the closet, which is fascinating to me because I talk about my faith all of the time. That's what I do for a living, right? I mean, I talk to people one-on-one about their faith and about mine and my spiritual experiences. So I'm pondering, how am I keeping my faith in the closet? This is wild. The only thing I could think of is because it was specifically a cross that I was building, is that I do talk to Jesus, and or you could say I pray, but I feel a two-way communication happening, and I'm very grateful for it. Now, I don't consider myself a religious person. I don't attend a specific church or religion, but spirit has always been very real to me. Since I was 9 years old, I have wanted to feel close to God. And at some point, I would say in my early 20s, late teens, actually. I was 17. So I figured out how to do that, how to build that connection and that bond. And yet, I think there's always ways we can improve our faith and continue to build our faith and build a personal relationship with the divine where we do feel like we're having two-way communication. So I'm going to do what I can to take action on my dreams to bring my faith out of the closet. So that's one of the choices I was given in the dream, right? I could stay in the closet or come out. So I'm coming out that I have faith. And the other thing, I could have stayed in there. I could have looked around. I could have made room in the closet, got rid of some things and made some space and made it work. But when you think about it, why would I choose to sleep on the floor as I had planned in the dream? Why would I choose to sleep on the floor in the closet when I could step out and sleep in a nice big bed in a nice big spacious room? What the heck kind of choice is that? And what's so beautiful to me is this idea of, does our faith have room for us? Does our faith have room for innocence and purity? The innocence and purity that we really are, that we already have inside of us, despite all of our human natures? That's a really big question. And the reason I ask is because over and over again, I see people resist the idea that they are innocent and pure, and that keeps them feeling disempowered for their own healing, to receive their healing and to feel deserving of healing and worthy of healing. And so it's really important to take a look at how you see yourself. Does your faith and your belief system make room for your innocence and purity? Or in another way, in the dream, you can step out of the smaller space of the closet and walk into the bigger, more expansive space where innocence and purity are already waiting for you and waiting to basically embrace you and rest beside you. Like, to me, sleepovers with my grandchildren represent love, unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, that sense of belonging, that sense of safety and security. And it brings me so much joy and so much peace to have that time with my grandbabies. But that's what that symbol and that experience means to me. And so if we can bring our faith and our belief system out of the closet into a bigger, more expansive space that already allows us to rest with the idea and the belief that we are innocent and that we are pure from divine's perspective, that we can take that perspective on as well. We can learn to see ourselves the way divine always sees us. And it's not that we're hiding any piece of us from the divine, because that's impossible. Our angels, God, universe knows everything about us. All of our little human nature quirks and things we don't like about ourselves, and yucky things we've said or done. That's to put it lightly, right? Sometimes we look at our past and we look at our mistakes and we hold regret. That's how we hold those things of our past. And then because we see them as mistakes and we hold it as regret, then we basically negate and deny our own innocence and purity in that moment. We disallow self-compassion, and holding those things against ourselves disempowers us in the present moment. And it changes the decisions we might make about our day-to-day living or about our relationships that we choose to engage with. So I think this is a really important topic, and it touches on the other one that I had about mistaken identity. If you didn't watch that video, it talks about our identity in this really expansive divine way, because that's healing. If you have something in your life that you want to heal, be it your body, your mental, emotional health, your spiritual health, your relationships, your finances, your home environment, we have to begin with our faith and what we really believe and what we're willing to make room for. Because the more we allow ourselves to embrace our beauty, our kindness, our compassion, our generosity, and all of the good parts of our humanity, the happy hormones flood our body with healing chemicals is what I could say, versus all of those stress chemicals that are regrets. Looking back at regrets and feeling that stress, that's going to create a lot of stress hormones, and that creates a lot of inflammation, which then will create a lot of disease, a lot of different types of diseases. So I feel like it's one thing that we can do is choose to, partner with the divine in asking and choosing to say, I'm willing to see my own innocence and purity through your eyes. I'm willing to see myself through the eyes of my angels, through the eyes of the divine universe, and to see how perfect my place has always been in the bigger plan that we don't really know. We just can't see it all while we're inside these tiny bodies. But what I know for sure is that we're deeply connected to source. We always have been and we always will be. We just don't always feel it. And so it's one thing we could do is to practice feeling it, taking the time for prayer and taking the time for meditation, quiet meditation, guided meditation, drumming journeys. There's all types of meditations, the Kirtan Kriya, all of these help support our health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And it opens us to receive absolute miracles. Is it mandatory? No, but it sure makes it easier. A lot easier, because I've received some miracles in life that I didn't even ask for, and I'm extremely grateful for those divine, spiritually transformative events. But because I choose to pray and meditate every day, and I've added in reading A Course in Miracles, I feel like my day-to-day felt experiences, two-way communication with spirit has taken on like a daily experience instead of a random miracle here or there, months apart or years apart. Instead, it's like we're creating space for a miracle to happen in this very moment because I choose to pray, because I choose to meditate. And I'm speaking for you too, not just me. But it's also important to not ignore the negative feelings and try and squish them down or brush them aside. So I wouldn't ever ask you to do that. But what I would do personally is just acknowledge, ugh, this is how I feel right now, and this is what I'm thinking about myself, or, maybe someone else, or the world at large. Acknowledge it. And then choose to, on purpose, feel it and really pour my heart out in prayer. Or to me, prayer and meditation is very much the same. It's just when I'm praying, I'm talking more. And when I'm meditating, I'm listening more and receiving more. And so what I would do is just really feel it all. And I created a video for that. It's free, it's on YouTube. It's digesting negative emotions. You can do it over and over again. Just feel it. Let yourself feel it really deeply. But then after 5 to 7 minutes, so it's not forever, then you invite spirit to fill in those places. Pour it all out. You know, another way to say it is you're basically diving deeply, deeply into the darkness of your feelings. And it's super dark, and I acknowledge that. But then when you're all emptied out, then you invite spirit to fill you back up. So it's kind of like these waves of emotion, they come and then they go, right? So when it's out, when it's on that out, then you invite spirit to fill you up. And the guided meditation can help you do that. And then what's on the other side of that is more peace. It's more calm. It's, for me, you know, everybody has a different experience. Some people feel more aligned. My client recently told me she felt more aligned and more at peace. I'll have to take a look at other people's thoughts, but that's my experience. And then because we've brought ourselves to a place of calm and peace, we're then beginning to really feel the truth that that peace is actually always there behind the scenes, right? In the end, or how do people word it? It's like really under it all, underneath everything that we're experiencing in life, it could look really messy and chaotic, but deep, deep down, there's always this calm. There's always peace. There's always love. And it's available to us when we stop rushing about, stop trying to fix everything, stop trying to solve all our own problems, and partner with spirit and just come back to ourselves, come back to our calm, come back to prayer, meditation, reading positive things, watching positive things. But really going deep within is what I like to do. And apparently I like to dream and then write about it because it also brings me peace and gives me actionable insights. So I love my dreams. Just wanted to look and see here. I thought it was interesting, the short life prognosis, that part of my dream that it started that I was given a short life prognosis. That's literally the words that was given. And what I think is amazing is all of us are given a short life prognosis, because even if humans lived to 150 years old, even if we lived 1,000 years compared to eternity, that is a very short life. So if you think about it, average people live to what, 70 something, 75, I don't know. Healthy people live somewhere in the 80s to 120, right? Like, I don't know. But my point is, that is a very short life compared to all of eternity. And to think that we have a choice, this is so important, that we have a choice to choose to accept our innocence and purity right now in this very short life and feel better now about ourselves and about our lives. Or we can stay judging ourselves and feeling terrible. That's okay too. Some people do it. But when we die, we will then be in spirit form, reunited with spirit and one with all that is. And then we will experience and get to see that we really were innocent and pure the whole time. And we didn't have to feel so crappy all along the way. We could have chosen to figure out how to let it go. One of the ways to let it go is that digesting negative emotion process. Another way, as my friend so nicely put it, she says, well, you just have to look at all the reasons you're hanging on. What's stopping you from letting it go? And those are your thoughts, those are your beliefs. So, my friend Joanna, she is a clinical hypnotherapist. She's on my website. So, if you want to find her, I'll give some links. And she does past life regression. And what I do is energy healing, shamanic practitioner work. So there's all types of modalities. There's no end to what we could do. And I also incorporate hand analysis, energy work, and what else do I do? Reflexology and herbalism. So I combine the herbalism from two places. We can use it as an essence, like for example, I take black cohosh flower essence. So it's very small when you think about dosage. It doesn't affect us on a hormonal level like it would if you took black cohosh root at a medicinal dose. So I approach herbalism from a very practical, very medicinal point of view because it's how I've taken care of my children without antibiotics for 28 years. But also, I do it from an energetic and a spirit point of view based on my dreams and my knowledge of herbs and their, well, plant spirits. That's how it is. So I work with plant spirits and I work with animal spirits. I work with angels. That's a lot of shamanic work, but I'm available if you need support in working through your dreams, working through your resistance to healing, your resistance to your own good nature, your resistance to your innocence and your purity. I can help you work through that. I can help you learn how to choose habits and practices and incorporate them in your life because we've all got schedules and a life to live, right? So I can help you work all of that into your life so that you can build your faith in a space that feels really good and really supportive to you in your healing, because we can all build a faith that supports our health and supports our empowerment in our lives, all the aspects of our lives, not just our body, though obviously the body is very important. We are not our bodies, but the body is, to me, a sacred temple that holds your spirit for your lifetime so you can have a life experience so that you can fulfill your soul's purpose for being here in a body. So you may as well take good care of it. Am I right? So fun. Okay, so that's the message for today. Hopefully, I've remembered everything. And yeah, that's it. So let us choose to invite miracles to replace all our grievances and therefore accept our own purity and innocence. Have a beautiful day.